This was our 8th year cruising on Corsair. Each year has been an adventure, some more than others. The first few years were tough. Our sailing skills were rusty, and the ocean punishes mistakes. Also, Corsair is a very complex boat, and we had a lot to learn. In those early years, we also had more than our share of mechanical issues. Later on, we caught up with the boat and things were a lot better. I'm asked why we cruise the Bahamas. Our boat can cross oceans. There are so many places to go. Why don't we go to other places? Aren't we bored just going to one place? Well, there's no single answer to those questions. There are many reasons we're in the Bahamas. First, it's one of the most beautiful places on Earth. And there are 700 islands, most of which we haven't seen. People are some of the best anywhere. And it's an adult summer camp like no other. So, this year, you'll see what we do all season and why we aren't bored. Each year we have regatta. We're on our way over now. Regatta is 2 weeks at the end of February. Some folks take their dinghy, others don't. We took our dinghy, which is pretty quick, as it turns out. The Chat and Chill started in 1997. We were there in 98. There was nothing going on at the time. At this point, it's in the tour books. On Pig Roast Sunday, it's more tourists than cruisers. As Yogi Berra once said, nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. Regatta has multiple events. It's more than a sailing regatta. There's big boat racing, small boat racing, volleyball, a variety show, coconut challenge, softball, poker run, bocce ball, plus evening parties scheduled as required, which is most evenings. These guys didn't sign up. We had a great turnout. Lots of folks. It started to rain, unfortunately. As you can see, everybody's getting wet. Not interested. Anyway, with the rain starting, we decided it was time to move indoors, and there's only one indoor place to move to. Chat and Chill. Chat and Chill has a 20-year history of cruisers, parties, and all kinds of goings-on. The history of the cruising community is written in the walls and on the ceilings. This is the Coconut Challenge. So, what's a Coconut Challenge? Well, it's two events. First is the dinghy coconut collection, and the second is the overhand coconut throw. The dinghy collection involves multiple dinghies, in this case over 25, without motors, collecting as many coconuts as possible from the lagoon behind the Chatton Show. The 4-person team gets 4 fins, a bucket, and they gotta go collect coconuts. And there's over 1,000 out there. The only rules are, you have to stay in your dinghy, and no stealing coconuts from another dinghy.
I want to speak.
I can get everybody's attention for you if you
I don't need you to get it. I need this to speak so I can speak. Now, alarm music, speak. No, that makes... You see? That makes music. I don't know what to...
just talk to me.
That's for me a technical idiot. Do you know what to do with the same thing? It's very cool. Hello? No, yeah, shit.
Turn it on. Okay, now wait till that finishes. No.
Hello? I finally figured it out. Hello? Judges, make everybody stand. Stand in the line, please.
And they all got in line.
In all fairness.
Alright. So we need to pull this up.
This event is the overhand coconut throw. There is one loader, one thrower, a plastic bag, 2 catchers, and a bunch of coconuts. There's a time limit of 25 seconds to throw and catch as many coconuts as possible, and you can't step over the line. The importance of not stepping over the line shows up later. There's different throwing techniques. Some work better than others. Catching techniques are pretty straightforward. You just catch them and not get hit in the head.
Nice. Uh-oh, look out. 20. 25 seconds. 26, 27, 28, 29. Last one. Oh. Ready.
This throwing technique didn't work out too well.
Go.
And no matter how many times you say something, it sometimes just doesn't get through.
Everybody ready? On your mark. Get set. Go.
These guys have it nailed. Our team needed 2 more coconuts on 20 to win the overall event. Here's where stepping over the line makes a big difference. And there it goes. And from there, we lost, and that was it for the day for us. This is the annual variety show. Used to be called the talent show. Here we go.
Show underway. First of all, who's excited to be in the Bahamas?
That's not her husband. Her husband is in the audience.
My wife's cooking is so bad. My wife's cooking is so bad the flies chipped in for a screen door.
The other day, my wife told me to take the garbage out. I said, "You cooked it, you take it out."
Hey folks, here's the story about Minnie the Mocha. She was a low-down Eugene Cushion. She was the roughest, toughest
me unspoiled from across that lonesome ocean.
Hi, this is Bambi on Banya.
Each morning there's a radio net. Think of it as a party line with 250 phones where everybody can hear and talk to everyone else. The net covers weather, what's happening in the harbor, and announcements. Donna put out an announcement offering a bread baking class. Since good bread is hard to find in the Bahamas, she got lots of takers. Word spread. As it turns out, the announcement was as popular as the class. Here's a take on her announcement.
Okay, not sure how to respond to that one, but we're going to move on. All right, more community announcements. Any more community announcements? Come now. Jillian, come now.
Hello, this is Vanna from Moist Air. I would like to invite you to Moist Air to learn to boil water. Bring your own pot and don't forget your lid. We can share a lovely cup of tea together. Don't be late. This is Moist Air. Over. Stand up, Donna. Stand up, the real Donna. Donna, stand up.
Good day, everybody. I'm Steve from Cactus, Halifax, Nova Scotia. My wife, Lori. I'd like to welcome you all to the main event of the day, bigger than the Daytona 500, which is on today. The softball game, Cruisers against the locals at the 39th Georgetown Cruising Regatta.
And there's a bell.
In the 39-year history of this game between the Cruisers and the Islanders, the Cruisers have lost 38 times. This year was the only win. And the only reason the Cruisers won is because the Islanders were on island time and half the team showed up 2 hours late. I played beach volleyball most days for most of the season. We'd start at around 2 p.m. and finish at around 4:30 every day. There are 3 courts, one for fun volleyball, one for 4-person regulation play, and one for 2-person regulation play. Fun volleyball is for everyone and has just a few rules. Regulation is serious and follows the official beach volleyball rulebook, which I had no idea existed. During regatta, there's a tournament for both fun and 4-person regulation play. I play both. I'm okay at fun, but regulation is far more difficult. There are 9 people on a fun team. Essentially, the court is covered with players, and there were 5 teams, and all teams play each other. I served 3 points in a row to win our final game of 5 for a 5-0 record. First place means a bottle of rum and a pennant, which is appropriate for a cruiser. This is regulation play. The court feels empty after fun volleyball. Our team had me, another novice, and 2 dedicated players, one of which played college ball. A dedicated player is somebody who plays year-round, and you can tell who the dedicated players are and who the novices are. This is our last game of regulation play. Serving is one of our novices, the other being me, of course. What is happening here is he is serving and serving and serving. Well, we get 6 points in a row, which is absolutely unheard of, and we go on to win this game, much to our surprise, and overall we wind up in second place, which is even more of a surprise because we're in with some pretty tough competition. Second place gets a bottle of wine and a pendant. Oddly, a bottle of wine costs double what a bottle of rum costs, but I think the prizes are based on alcohol content rather than cost. By the way, beer is third. This looks like a beach party, but it isn't. This is a serious scientific endeavor, cruiser style. This is the ARG, the Alcohol Research Group. Each person brings their favorite research material and shares the results of their research with the group. We do this every few weeks. The research is comprehensive and exhausting, but no one seems to mind. This is a typical turnout. The event is planned days in advance, which is really a long time for cruisers. Small boat racing is several events. First up is kayak racing. This is the kids division. Next up, kayak racing, men's division. These guys are working really, really hard. And taking time out for a swim. Next up is paddleboard racing. This is also the kids division, and they did actually pretty well. If you've never been on a paddleboard, it's harder than it looks. And we have a winner. This is men's paddleboard racing. Notice the guy in the middle who seems to not know what he's doing. There'll be more on him later. Well, here's that same guy in the middle. He's actually a friend of ours, Ramito from Argentina. And the number 2 paddleboard has a lookout. Now remember that guy in the middle? Well, here he is. Ramito's in pretty good shape. This is the blindfolded dinghy racing. The rower is blindfolded. There's a lookout who tells him where to go, and the result is predictable. The harbor is actually pretty big, so this race takes a while. This goes on for about 45 minutes before the boats finally get squared away and start to come in. And the fleet finally catches up. The next event is sailboat racing. And this is really small boats, as you can see. We had good wind that day. Next up is the unlimited sailing class. These are sailing designs based on cruisers' best idea for what goes fast downwind. As it turns out, big umbrellas work really well. The theme for this year's costume party was underwater. So fishes, sharks, reef creatures, and so on. Mermaids were a big hit, especially for this guy. Since most cruisers don't carry costumes, costumes are made from whatever is on board. Some folks carry crazy stuff. I have no idea what these guys are doing. Nor these guys. Wednesday evening at the Chat and Chill is the disco dance. It goes from about 6 to 10. Cruisers Midnight is universally acknowledged to be around 9, so 10 is a very late night. The weekly evening schedule pretty much goes like this. Sunday is Trivial Pursuit at the St. Francis. Monday is Rake and Scrape music at Eddie's Edgewater Grill. Tuesday night is Poker Night at the St. Francis Yacht Club. Wednesday is the dance at Chat and Chill. Thursday, more poker at the St. Francis. Friday is local music at the Fish Fry with the locals. And Saturday is usually reserved for special evening stuff. So now you know what we do in the Bahamas and why we go back. I hope you enjoyed this little look into our cruising life aboard Corsair.
They call me Bohog. Bohog and my rooters are here.
These are the men sell us the rooters.
Some of the time when I want to stop, I touch them like that. You know?